So I recently found out this cool way so you can manage your contacts, and there's actually quite a bit of upsides, and we'll look into those. So yeah, why would you wanna just switch? I mean, your phone already manages your contacts. So why would you want a different means of managing your contacts? You already have your phone, and you already have Facebook, and well, that's kind of the problem, because Facebook and other services like Gmail are competing for which is the most convenient for managing your contacts. And because they compete against each other, that basically means that they all lack something very particular. They get on one another's toes, per se, and therefore there will always be someone which is in your Facebook friends, which is not on your like mail contacts. So yeah, your contacts are actually scattered all around the internet. You have your Gmail, Facebook, Outlook, Yahoo Mail, some old phone numbers, some old computers, and even worse, maybe you have some like old work email, which some contacts there of some old coworkers you might want to keep in touch with. And other than having all of your contacts in one place, there's actually a great reason to switch. A reason regarding privacy and security. I mean, if you're a very tech-savvy person, or lurk around Reddit or something like that, you pretty much know that leaks happen pretty much once a year, big leaks at least. So this is just a screen grab from an article I found, and here we can see that Yahoo was hacked, and the hackers were able to steal full names, email addresses, telephone numbers, and passwords. Imagine that you have your contacts on like Yahoo Mail, and suddenly all of your friends, or at least a great portion of them, have their information leaked because of your fault. Well, not your fault, because you choose Yahoo Mail, and who chooses Yahoo Mail? But that's the point. If you trust a separate company or any company with your contact information, you're just allowing for the worst case scenario to happen potentially. So of course, you don't want to expose your contacts information to the world. That brings me to the point that there's actually someone always listening. There's different applications by design spy you, in the sense that they always keep track of everything you do inside of those services. They do this tracking out of a goodwill, they say, because they want to provide you like a cloud service or whatever. They want it to be seamless, like Apple, Apple's iCloud service. Oh, it just works, right? But it doesn't, because the iCloud leak happened, and it didn't work. It's not really secure. I mean, because everything happens in the background, you don't really know what's going on with your information, and having someone always looking inside your contacts, it's like kind of an itchy feeling, So we're gonna use a different method. We're not gonna bother with keeping our contacts on Facebook or Gmail or Outlook. None of that. We're gonna actually use this thing called a vCard system. This is an old system. It's as old as it gets. It's really cool. But what are vCards? vCards are small files on your computer. There are plain text documents, and they basically store your contacts. The most important feature, I would say, is that they are very easy to read. Even if you don't have like a vCard specific program, you can just open them with like any word processing program and just read it out loud. So if you want to like read your contacts inside Gmail, you have to launch your browser and then go to Google, and then go to Gmail, and then click the tab for contacts, and so on. I mean, you could go straight to like contacts.google.com, but you still have to open up like your browser program and probably like type in your password. It's a pain. I mean, if you want to use a program, you're gonna have some complications. But if it's just like a document that you can read out loud or even print, that'll make it just way easier. And I know that you probably haven't heard of vCards. This is because most services actually use and support vCards, but they use them actually on the back end. So like your iPhone contacts, it's probably using vCards in the background. It's just not telling you because they want to sync it with the cloud or whatever. And yeah, as I mentioned, they work on the background on most services, meaning that they are very compatible. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time running with a device which does not support vCards. They work with your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. I even found like an article to get it to work in one of these like old phones, these Nokia phones. I even found another article so you can work it like on a BlackBerry. So yeah, point is that you're gonna have a hard time finding a device which does not support vCards. vCards will work on your device. So vCards are so great and all. Yeah, I get it. But do I have to start from scratch? Do I have to write all of my contacts now in this new fancy program that I've never heard of? Well, no, actually, because you can actually export your contacts from different services in vCard form. So these are just some general instructions. If you're kind of tech savvy with these instructions, you'll be able to figure it out. But if you don't have like quite 100% the idea what you're looking for, like on the menus or whatever, you'll see that on my website I have like links for specific instructions. But basically, on any device, you just want to go to your contacts app or program, just found a menu or button that says export. This will be probably the most difficult part. I mean, just finding a button, I mean, it's super simple. Then just export as vCard. You'll also see an option like, oh, export as a VCF. VCF and vCards are the same thing. VCF, vCard file. I mean, it's pretty simple. And yeah, I mean, once you have exported your vCard file, you can just save it on somewhere. I mean, on your internal memory or your USB for you to sync across devices without, being spied on the cloud. Okay, but let's say you have like a new contact, right? You just met this new person and you want to write his contact down. How do you do it using vCards? Well, if you want to do the old-fashioned way, this is how you make a vCard from scratch. But when we make a vCard, we pretty much want to shift the way that we think about our contacts. Instead of thinking that we're just inputting like on your keyboard or your phone some like, oh, I'm gonna put his name, so I'm gonna open an app. I'm gonna open an app and click on the menu and then select the photo and no. We're not gonna think about it as if we were like interacting with a program. Let's just think of it as if we're writing an actual physical address book. And the reason will be quite obvious once we continue, because vCards are somewhat technical, but once you get the gist of it, you pretty much be able to work just fine. And what do I mean by address book? I mean, if you've never seen those, I mean, this is how they look like. They have some very special characteristics that for people are really obvious, but for computers and phones, this is not really obvious. But when we have like an address book, the title, it says address book. Then we have this little thing that separates like the title from the actual thing that we want to store. We can write his name, his address, so on and so forth. But then we have this to separate the first contact from the second. And this will be important in just a second. vCards actually follow this logic. So it's just plain text. You just write on a Word document, on a plain text document. So there's gonna look like this, basically. So first contact begins here. The name of the contact, King Kong, of course. His cell phone number is so on. And the first contact ends here. Second contact begins here. His name is Mario. And his phone number is such. And the second contact ends here. And the reason why I'm explaining this is because so you can see actually the relationship between an actual address book and what we will write as a vCard file. So of course here we just write down their names. Name is right here, right here. It begins with a separator, phone number. It ends with a separator, contact ends here, and so on. So see, there's this relationship between the first contact begins and first contact ends. This is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind, so it's gonna be easy for you. But instead of writing first contact begins here, we're just gonna write a bit of code. I mean, this is really simple code. You can read it out loud. You'll still get it. So instead of writing first contact begins here, we'll write begin vcard. Then version 3.0 because we have to use a version. And then King Kong, we're gonna write down FN, which means full name. FN, full name. Then instead of typing his cell phone number is so on and so forth, we're gonna write down tel for telephone. Type equals cell. What does this mean? This means that we're gonna write down a telephone number, which is a cell phone number. We can write as well, then we'll end the vcard. First contact ends here. Then the next one begins. So we just begin it. Again, we have to put in the version, full name. But now we want to write down a phone. A phone, a home phone. That's what I mean. So we just write down tel type equals home instead of cell, so we can differentiate, and then just end the vcard. So you see, although we meant to communicate this information, we actually are gonna type this information out, and it's really not that difficult. Later on, I'm gonna give you like a template. This is the same thing we just went over, the one about King Kong and Mario Bros. Then once we have written this on a plain text document, we're just gonna save as a VCF document. Remember that VCF is a vcard file. So when we save, just save as name, like my context, dot VCF, and it will work. Yeah, as an example, this is context VCF. And if you want to type down more information like their birthday, their email, their website, where they work, like a last name, surname, a more formal thing, or you want to write down a note about that specific person, you can do so. There's actually a bunch of parameters that you can use within vcards, but this is what I consider the most common. So as I mentioned, name, website, email, where he works, the place works, cell phone number, home phone number, birthday, and some notes if you want to. Oh, that's the guy I met at a coffee shop. And I actually made this really quick preset, so you can copy this. That, or just click the button. And by the way, this presentation, if you want to review it later, will be in the description, so you can just see that if you don't want to follow along with the video. And the code itself, this preset, will be available on my website, which the link is on the description as well. And as I mentioned, you can put in tons of stuff. I mean, we looked at putting the version, we use version 3, then N, which means name, FN, full name. You can put in the address, and so on. If you want to learn how to put in more parameters like the address or the geolocation, you can look at this website with instructions. Just open that up. There you go. You can just read the table. Just figure this out. Close that. This will be in the description as well. And yeah, you can actually make a vcard about just one person or like a million people. As we looked at previously, here you go, like the Mario Brothers and King Kong example. Write down begin, then end. So far we have one, and just after that one we have another one, and then we can chain it up. We can have another one and another one and another one and another one. The way you do it, you just use my preset, just copy and paste it a bunch of times, you just fill it in, And that is if you want a new contact. Of course, you can import your contacts from other sites, for example. So you can have all of your contacts in this easy to read manner. And the thing that is really useful is that, as I mentioned, you can have like only one contact stored on the document or a bunch of them. And a use case could be, let's say, that you make a V-card for yourself. So if you meet like someone important and you want to give them like your business card, you can send them like in the business card like a link for your contact information. So you can just download the V-card and open them themselves. So if they lose like your business card, they'll still have like a digital copy of your contact information. And that is pretty much it. I mean, I'm about to wrap up here the video. Let me just show you how it looks like, okay? So first of all, let me just show you that this is a website. Have some cool table of contents. I have pretty much the same explanation. If you want to follow along later, the template, you just are gonna copy it like this. Copy that. I press Ctrl+C to copy. Then let me just make a new document. And by the way, I'm doing all of this live. So this is why I'm constantly starting. Like this. So yeah, we just opened up like a folder. Basically anywhere on our computer. Just gonna right click. Of course, this steps only work on Windows. You can follow along with the Mac equivalent. Just want to create a new document. So like new text document. And just name it whatever. Contacts. For now, they're going to be context.txt. That's short for text, of course. And here we can write whatever. But instead of just writing anything, we will copy the preset. So I'm going to leave just one preset as it is, so I can copy paste it multiple. And let me just fill this in. So let's say I don't want to like a formal last name surname thing, so I'm gonna use the name. Let's make like a contact out of myself. I don't know, like this is name Alex. Wow, we're good at this. I work at my website. Let's say I have a website, which I do. Long address, an email. You can send me an email if you want. Point is, this is really simple. Of course, I'm not gonna give away my cell phone numbers, but let's say that my cell phone number is this, and I don't want to share that as well. It's just the note. Let me just get rid of the note. There we go. It's a really big note. So in this note, I basically tell you, like, if you forget how to edit this V cards, I give you a bunch of links so you can go ahead and do them. Like, this is me, haha. Yeah. But you also want to store someone else contact. Just copy and paste this, use a different name, and so on. Okay, let's say this is finished. I'm just gonna put this one. Then I'm just gonna save it. So save as instead of just regular save. And let's save it as not just a text document, but any type of document. Ending not in txt, in a V card format. save. And there we go. Here I have my contact. I'm gonna open it up, and because I'm on Windows, it'll look like this. And here I have the first contact. Remember, full name goes here. This is the preset. The notes, I'm gonna have like a bunch of stuff. You can read the notes if you want. And once we close this, I'm gonna get my second contact that I stored. So my contact, here it is. Made up number, my website, email, and this is me. Funny joke. And if you want to just read it as text, so you can quickly read it, just right click, like open with Notepad, so you can read it in a more easy manner. Oh, this is Alex's website, so on. And that is pretty much it. I'll just recommend you that if you're really interested in the vCard thing, just like bookmark like my website or whatever. There we go. Just bookmark it if you want to check it out later. In the description, I'll have a link for this presentation, everything you need. I have a more detailed instructions over here, and yeah, I mean, just be. I mean, if you think this is like a cool channel, this really, oh my god, really hip. You can follow me on Twitter. You can go to this link, this funny looking link, so you can subscribe via RSS to my YouTube channel. I actually made a tutorial on how to subscribe via RSS, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check on my previous video. I actually recorded that video just now. This is like a 22-minute video so far. I'm pretty much gonna end it right here. And yeah, thank you very much. And just in case you're wondering, this channel is actually changing direction. I was gonna do like a bunch of like editing Premiere videos without my voice, basically. And I'm gonna do this type of videos